Dresden. It's the state capital of the Free State of Saxony and has about 572,000 residents in the year 2023. And it's also one of the largest cities in eastern Germany. Dresden is currently experiencing an economic upswing that makes the city one of the most promising investment locations in Germany. With a dynamic growth region and significant economic strengths, Dresden and its surrounding area are extremely attractive for investors. Anyone who wants to learn the exciting reasons why now is the right time to invest in real estate in Dresden should definitely stick around. Welcome to the new podcast, From Saver to Investor. My name is Fabian Schuster, and my vision. It's about narrowing the gap between rich and poor in the German-speaking world a bit. How can we make this happen? Well, when I'm not sitting here in front of the microphone, then I'm exactly. For this reason, I've been working as a managing director and consultant at our company, Capriconsol, for over 10 years. And together, we've independently supported over 600 people. In doing so, we support the journey from saver to investor. And so, in collaboration with our clients, we were able to not only build significant assets in the 7 or even 8-figure range, but also to maintain them. And we want to share this experience-based knowledge with you completely free of charge through our podcast and our YouTube channel. We're kicking off the podcast with a bold thesis. We see Dresden as a promising, if not the most promising, location in Germany. The potential here is so high that Dresden could become a strong economic competitor to cities like Munich or Stuttgart in the coming decades. Or in the long run, you never know, it might even surpass them. Of course, we don't just throw a statement like that out into the void. So, let's take a look at the factors that are contributing to this economic upswing. First, let's talk about the forecasts for population growth. The current population was 572,240 in 2023. Then there are short-term forecasts. There is currently an annual influx of an influx of about 2,900 people is expected. So the growth is there, but the net increase is a bit lower because right now, more people are passing away than are being born. That's the short-term perspective. The medium-term forecast is that by 2030, there will be an increase to approximate 577,000 to 580,000 residents. It's being predicted. In the long term, by 2038, the population is expected to exceed 600,000 residents for the first time. For 2040, it's cautiously assumed, though that's still a long way off, that the population will remain well over 600,000, around 603,000 to 605,000 people. The percentage growth, which always interests a lot of people, is expected to be about 33,400 residents, or roughly 5.9% from 2023 to 2040. However, it has to be said that earlier forecasts had to be revised time and again, because the current forecast and where Dresden stands right now is significantly higher than what the earlier estimates suggested. In 2022, it was still estimated that there would be a maximum of 578,000 residents by 2040. There are indeed reasons for the growth, and they are very solid reasons. On one hand, there's the influx of many people, especially skilled workers, due to the economic dynamism and technology and research. When I think back to when I was in college or in training, a lot of people came here to study, for example, at the Technical University, which is an excellence university. More on that later. Or at the University of Applied Sciences for Engineering and Economics, or a lot of highly regarded vocational training programs. What happened after graduation? Yeah, my classmates, they all pretty much went off to other cities in Germany or Europe because there was more money to be made elsewhere. Everything has turned around and changed now because wages have also risen significantly. The city's attractiveness is also due to a particularly high quality of life, a lot of cultural offerings, and an incredibly good infrastructure. Very, very high. These forecasts show that Dresden is expected to experience steady population growth in the coming years and decades, even surpassing earlier expectations. The economic strength and diversity in Dresden is very, very high. Because Dresden is the strongest economic hub in the new federal states and a powerhouse of technology. The city has developed into a leading center for microelectronics, nanotechnology, IT, and life sciences. Since its founding in 2000, Silicon Saxony, maybe some of you have heard of it, has created a strong network structure entirely through self-financing. This connects successfully manufacturers, suppliers, service providers, universities, research institutes, but also public institutions as well as industry-relevant startups at the economic location of Saxony and beyond. So, Dresden is the most modern and largest semiconductor location in Europe. The state capital of Saxony is considered a top region for forward-looking technologies, including nanoelectronics. Already, 1 in 3 chips used in the EU comes from Dresden. It is therefore not surprising that Bosch, Infineon, and Global Foundries, also renowned companies, are now joining forces. Chip manufacturers, like TSMC, are setting up in Dresden with billion-dollar investments and expanding their presence in this up-and-coming city. Well-known companies have their headquarters here, and the city is continuously attracting new investments. Just a little excerpt of the well-known players. Just mentioned. Global Foundries in Dresden, a leading company from New York in microelectronics that manufactures semiconductor products, and one of the biggest employers here in the region is. For example, Infineon also has a branch in Dresden and is a significant player in the semiconductor industry, specializing in electronic components. Then there's EFW, Elba Flugzeugwerk. This company specializes in the maintenance and modification of aircraft and aircraft construction, and it's based in Dresden. SAP is also a leading software company that has a branch in Dresden and specializes in enterprise software. Then there's the Technical University in Dresden. It's one of the oldest and most prestigious universities in Germany, which also houses numerous research institutes. And it also carries the title of an excellence university. Then there's the Fraunhofer Institute for Material and Beam Technology, known as IWS. It's a leading research institute focused on applied research in areas like materials science and beam technology. The Max Planck Institute for Molecular Cell Biology and Genetics is also located in Dresden. It's a significant research institute that deals with the biological and genetic questions of today's humans. Volkswagen is also based here, specifically in the Transparent Factory. It's an extremely impressive building, a key site for modern automobile production and an important location for Volkswagen in Germany. Employment has increased by 8.5% since 2009, and the unemployment rate is low, 6.8%. A significant growth sector in Dresden is definitely the semiconductor industry and science. The city recently forged a regional alliance to attract TSMC, the Taiwanese chip manufacturer, to set up this semiconductor factory, which continues to strengthen the economic significance of Dresden. These developments offer huge opportunities for investors who can benefit from the rising demand for commercial and residential real estate. Besides the semiconductor industry, Dresden is also extremely strong in other sectors. The automotive industry, mechanical engineering, as well as biotechnology and pharmaceuticals are just a few examples of the city's economic diversity. And with that, you're naturally diversifying risks, because the more employers and also industries, the higher the likelihood that people in Dresden can actually earn money. And accordingly for you, for example, as investors, they can and want to pay your rents. Companies like Volkswagen and Bosch have invested a lot here, creating jobs and economic stability. Maybe some of you are familiar with this large transparent factory located right in the middle of the city if you've ever been to Dresden. Then we also have the Bosch factory, which was built a few years ago right off the highway, in the north of Dresden. So if you're coming from Berlin and heading to Dresden, when you get to the northern interchange, you'll see the big Bosch factory on your right. It's a really impressive building. Right next to it, TSMC is going to be built, so this podcast is being recorded in August 2024. By the way, the groundbreaking for TSMC is also set for August 2024, so it's just getting started. And yeah, if you just take a look at the property on Google Maps, you'll actually see that TSMC is indeed setting up right above Bosch, and that's going to be a whole different ballgame. Research and innovation, that's definitely one of the biggest points in Dresden, because Dresden has the highest research density in Germany with 46 institutes and a multitude of collaborations between business and science. That's really closely intertwined. TU Dresden is the only university of excellence in East Germany and a hub for innovation and technological development. This strong landscape of research and innovation attracts highly qualified professionals and fosters economic growth in the city. Because today, it's like this. People come here to study and train, and they stay because the quality of life and job opportunities, career prospects are so much better than when I was, for example, in training and studying. Investments in the real estate market are definitely particularly interesting. In Dresden, in 2023, Dresden recorded 16 new settlements, among others, with a volume of over 10 billion euros, which led to the creation of 2,682 jobs. Investors from various countries, including Taiwan, Germany, the UK, and China, have recently been investing more in Dresden. The real estate market in Dresden offers excellent investment opportunities due to the rising demand and insufficient housing supply. You can sort the rents per square meter into a few categories. You can imagine, in new buildings for example, within the city, rents are on average between 14 and up to 18 euros per square meter. Cold. Of course, it depends a bit on the location, the amenities, and the size. Rents in existing buildings, that is, buildings that are a bit older and the apartments may have been worn out for decades, usually cost between 7 and 10 euros per square meter, up to 9 euros net cold for new rentals. If, for example, you have an existing property and you modernize it, that is one of the models that we implement relatively often with our customers because, on the one hand, it has very, very strong tax advantages. And on the other hand, it also makes the investment extremely attractive for new rentals. So, a modernized existing property, meaning bringing it to a condition that visually comes very close to new construction. You can also generate rents that are somewhere between 10 euros and 12.50 euros cold per square meter. And that makes investments extremely interesting. So, what are the prices like? Land prices, for example, vary between 300 and 700 euros per square meter in different locations, but in really prime areas, they can easily exceed 1,000 euros per square meter. Condominiums have prices per square meter that typically range from 2,500 to 4,000 euros per square meter, depending on the location, amenities, and so on. That can definitely vary a lot. Of course, the apartments that have a higher price per square meter generally also have a much higher rental demand and higher rental prices. So, what I mentioned earlier, the prices, that settle at the lower end. With new rentals, we're talking about apartments that have a purchase price between 2,500 and 3,000 euros per square meter and apartments that go up to 4,000 euros. But that's really more at the top end right now for existing properties. Those are the ones where you can easily get 12 or 13 euros, or maybe even more, per square meter in rent. Another important aspect in Dresden is, of course, tourism. Dresden is often referred to as Elba is an important tourist destination in Germany. It's well known for its impressive Baroque architecture and cultural treasures. The city and the surrounding Elbe region attract millions of visitors each year. You want to hear some concrete numbers? I've pulled them up for 2023. There were about 2.1 million visitors in Dresden and over 4.4 million overnight stays in Dresden and the Elbe region. That's an increase of 15% compared to the previous year. And by 2023, we had already reached 91% of the pre-COVID levels from 2019. That means tourism has also recovered extremely well within the city. I'm curious to see what the numbers for 2024 will look like. Right now, it's summer, and the city is super crowded. It's really nice to see so many tourists around and all the offerings available, especially since there's a large and growing share of foreign and international guests. Leading the way right now, which some might not even guess, is Poland. Poland currently accounts for 100,000 overnight stays in Dresden. But there are many other important countries of origin. Many tourists come from the Czech Republic, and a lot also come from the USA and Japan. And they naturally visit popular sites like the Frauenkirche, the Semperoper, and the Zwinger, but also the surrounding area, including the special place of Saxon, Switzerland, or such as Schloss Pellnitz. These are all additional attractions that are extremely popular for day trips and nature lovers. But there's definitely a must-see. You definitely should come to Dresden during the Christmas season. When I travel to the USA, I always read during the Christmas season. Dresden, the capital of Christmas. It's supposed to be the capital of Christmas. So, definitely, check out the Striezelmarkt. It's an absolute must, because Christmas tourism is a big deal in Dresden. The Striezelmarkt is one of the oldest Christmas markets in Germany, and it's simply one of the main attractions during the Christmas season and very, very beautiful to see. December was, at least last year, the busiest and strongest month, thanks to all the Christmas markets. There are actually over 10 different ones just within the city. Then there are others in the surrounding areas, like Weinböller, Red-Bull, Alt-Kalskenbroda, and also Pirna and Heidenau. Everywhere you go, there are more little Christmas markets that you can check out. The city offers a variety of tourist services, including different city tours. You can rent bikes, and you can attend various events that take place throughout the year. The official tourism board definitely supports visitors comprehensively and also digitally. And Dresden is not only known for its historic cities, but also for its vibrant cultural scene with numerous festivals and events, like the International Dixieland Festival. The good transport connections, including the international airport, which I think still has some potential for expansion. But maybe something will come of that now with the strong establishment of all the big industries in the north. Yeah, there's definitely still some room for improvement, but still, it's really easy to get to Dresden from the main destinations, and that makes traveling through the international airport a lot easier. Or if you're in the northern part of the city, then you might need a car. 1 hour, 30, 1 hour, 40, then you're also at BER, the Berlin airport. So that's just a stone's throw away. Overall, Dresden offers an attractive mix of culture, history, and recreational opportunities, make it a popular destination for both domestic and international travelers. Yeah, let's draw a conclusion. In hindsight, everyone probably says, I should have invested in Bitcoin back then. Yeah, if only. Or if only I bought a mobile home on the outskirts of Munich 20 years ago. The value has developed and multiplied so much since then, and so on. Anyone can make such statements in hindsight, saying, I should have acted sooner, and then regretting it is always easier said than done. But now is exactly the moment in Dresden when you'll regret not taking action later. Dresden and its surrounding area are becoming one of the largest economic construction sites in Europe, and it offers investors extremely diverse opportunities and chances. The strong economy, the innovative spirit, and the tight real estate market make the city an attractive location for long-term investments. So now is the perfect time to invest in Dresden and take advantage of the positive developments in this dynamic growth region. And it would be a crime if I didn't do a little self-promotion here. So if you're looking for appropriate investment opportunities that potentially fit you and work for you, both from a tax perspective and a return perspective, and you want to be successful in the long run, then we have the right network in Dresden with the service providers you need around real estate and beneficial. And we help you find the right investment for you and set everything up for you. Whether you're doing this for the first time or if you're already experienced and have gathered a lot of experience. And now let's professionalize the whole thing a bit. We find the right entry point for every level of investors, whether big or small. So feel free to reach out to us through the contact form. Let's leave a message. I definitely read every message personally, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Subscribe to the channel and see you next time. Your Fabian.